it's a low bar for what qualifies for gold. It's not exactly 14 karat.
It's a little. Did you mean that pun?
Because of St. Patrick's Day?
Well, that, and he said a low bar.
Yeah!
Oh, I really wish that I had
guys-
used that.
You guys can call me Quipsilver.
I refuse to do that, but I appreciate the gall.
Okay, well, I'm gonna go drink some bleach, guys.
Have fun. You ready for the intro? Intro
I'm good
song?
to go.
Here we go.
Long and fruitful silence.
Very good. And then you gotta like twist the knobs.
Best part.
What up, nerds? And welcome to another very confusing episode of Straight Chilling. My name is Bob, and I'll be your host for the evening. This is episode number 206, recorded Sunday, March 17th, 2019, also known as St. Patrick's Day. Drinking the green beer. Tonight we're going to be talking about Tales from the Crypt Demon Night, as was chosen by our lovely Patreon member, Vincent C. Thank you, Vincent.
Oh, jeez. Oh.
Thank you.
What's
Oh,
wrong?
no. Oh, jeez.
What happened?
What happened, Randy?
Oh,
Did you
no.
watch the wrong movie?
I watched the wrong movie, guys!
What?
Did you watch Us a week early?
No, I watched Birdemic, the movie that's like the birds, but terrible.
Oh, okay.
So we're going to talk about Birdemic. Oh,
movie did you
no. No
actually
Billy
watch?
Zane in this one. Oh, no.
Randy watched the wrong movie.
I
Womp,
watched
womp, womp.
Bordello of Blood. Oh, no. I'm going to kind of keep it a secret what I actually watched this week instead of this movie. We're going to keep it quiet. I'm not going to play.
I don't know if it's gonna work out that well, but we'll get to the bottom of it before too long.
Okay, babe.
Babe. Before we get into the review, let me introduce everyone else on the show this week. First up, sipping out of a tiki mug, Randy Gamey G. Landy.
What's up? Happy St. Patrick's Day. Aloha.
It's so appropriate.
Yeah. What's in that mug? What are you drinking?
This right here is fruity juices and vodka. I did not have any sort of mixers for my bourbon, so it looks like going to be shots later instead. So
Straight out of the bottle.
Straight out of the bottle. You know me.
Of course. Up next, calling in from Southern Korea, where they actually still celebrate St. Patrick's Day. Soju.
What up? It's your boy. Green stains? I don't know. Some St. Patrick's Day shit.
Grass stains?
Diarrhea stains.
Green stains is like Greensleeve's fucked up cousin on St. Patrick's Day.
Okay.
So I'm fresh off of 2 days worth of Jameson, green beer, and Guinness. So, woo! Throwing up for the O'Toole clan.
Feeling good, feeling great.
Yeah,
So
it's also
stains.
6:30 a.m. now, the following Monday.
Next up, calling in from my dining room table, making his triumphant return to the cast, the old man.
Chatty Cathy's back.
We got Ozzy in the house here.
Man with wood.
I forgot about that.
Carol from
Boy,
HR is
also.
back, guys.
She's
What's
got a
going on,
butt.
everybody? How's everyone doing?
Better now that you're here, sir.
Ooh.
So much better.
Good to see you, guy. Good to see you.
It's good to be back. It feels like a nice, warm
Oh,
sock
stop there.
filled with room temperature milk and bacon bits.
Damn.
Whoa.
Jesus, that's a very specific, horrifying
Very
thing.
comfortable. Very comfortable.
Oh, warm milk
All right.
and bacon bits? I'm not sure how I feel about all that.
I'm going for them all today, boys.
Last but not least, we got all the time zones covered on the show today, every single one. We're bringing the whole cast back from episode 150, in which we reviewed Bordello of Blood and Randy reviewed Demon Knight. We're reversing it this evening. We got Shane calling in from Australia. What's up, Shane? How you doing?
Hey guys, I'm good. So happy to be back, and I watched the right movie. And yesterday was my St. Patrick's
Show
Day.
off.
Plenty of beers, but yeah, I don't think I could eat whatever Cesar just said. It's a bit 8:30 in the morning.
Yeah,
I think he was talking about fucking it.
are the bacon bits in?
Yeah, they're in the sock and everything.
Yes. I don't think you want to do either.
I was actually talking about nestling in it like a sleeping bag, guys.
Okay.
Oh,
He said sock and
Yeah.
warm.
I'm a tiny little boy who fits inside. Never mind.
Okay, we're just going deeper and deeper into a realm we don't want to be in. Oh, Jesus
Underground.
Christ.
I totally read that the wrong way.
It was probably the right way.
There's no right way. There really isn't. Genuinely.
Well, thanks for coming back to the show, Shane, and lending us some credence, as you are the only legitimate film critic ever to be featured on this show. It's always a pleasure to have you on, man, and talk to you.
Much appreciated to be asked back, mate. I'm a big fan, but being part of the family is also extra special.
Yeah, Shang the Mang. Woo! Let's get it.
Just coining terms all over the place today.
Shane the man.
Never heard that
I'm a
one
fan
before.
of that. Damn.
You added a G to both words. I just don't. I can't do this.
Shang the Mang Mang.
Anyways, let's get into some housekeeping real quick. The April poll pick is posted on our Patreon website. If you support us on Patreon at the $5 level or above, you can vote on a movie we're going to talk about this coming April. The theme of the poll pick for April is movies that fooled us, and the 3 movies that are up there for you to vote between are The Boy, American Psycho, and Saw. Make sure you cast your vote before the end of March, and let us know what movie we're going to be talking about. So far, American Psycho is in the lead. It's looking good.
How
for
those
American
numbers
Psycho.
looking, Bob?
There's still quite a few people that need to vote, so it really could go any which way. But right now, American Psycho for sure is in the lead.
Cool.
We also have a new supporter on Patreon that we need to give a quick shout out to. Big thanks to Gary Lugosi for supporting us on Patreon.
Man, we have a lot of thematically appropriate Patreon names.
we really do.
King.
Stephen King,
Yeah,
Vincent,
Stephen King, damn.
Gary
Oh, man.
Lugosi. Yeah, we got all the big names. All the big names.
Thanks, Gary. Gary, right?
Appreciate it.
Just need to get my boy Dick Bibbs on there, and we'll have the whole collection.
Old
Dick
Dick Bibbs.
Bibbs.
He'll be here.
coming in hot. We're also, as of today, we're going to be reopening the $10 level on Patreon, which allows you to pick a movie for us to review. So we only provide 5 spots per quarter. So this is going to be for the months of April, May, and June of 2019. It's first come, first served kind of thing. So the first 5 people that sign up.
Already got people proclaiming their intentions of taking one of those 5 spots, Bob.
Yeah,
They gotta
yeah.
hit the refresh button. as soon
Yeah,
as
they
it
do.
pops
It's like
up.
this is more intense than a fucking eBay war. All right, y'all got to be on top of your shit. Get your Patreon picks
like
in.
fucking Ticketmaster over here now.
They're not that bad. That's a bad rap.
Yeah, I don't want to be associated with
Don't put that
Ticketmaster,
curse
even
on us.
jokingly.
Okay, my
Yeah.
bad.
All right,
Yeah,
man.
so if you want to pick a movie for us to talk about, much like Vincent C. did this evening, hit us up on Patreon and take advantage of that before the 5 spots are gone. Juice, you want to talk about some YouTube and Twitching?
Sure.
Thanks.
Out of out
Yeah,
of respect, we had to cancel the Twitch this St. Patty's Day. You know, everybody getting their drink on. That's it's something we need to recognize. So Twitch was canceled this week, but there's only a little bit left playing through Limbo this month. It's our horror game of the month for Twitch, so you could check that out. Even though Limbo is canceled for this week, I still got some new playthroughs up from still going through some of the Resident Evil 2 remake. So if you're interested in the Claire playthrough, you could check that out. The main playthrough we did in February was Leon's, and still got some DLC to go through. They're not on the YouTube yet. They'll be up there soon, but you could check them out on Twitch right now. And Bob's Blu-rays. What you got, Bob? You got it? Come on. It's been a hot minute now.
Yeah, that's true. I've been slacking a little bit. I'll try and get one before next weekend comes around.
You got that sweet 4K steel box Demon Knight kick in, or what?
Steel Demon Knight box.
No, I don't own Demon Knight.
Yeah, you own the Tesseract version.
And next week is a movie review too, like from the theater.
Yeah.
So no go on the Bob's Blu-rays that week. So
Nah, I'll cook something up. I will.
Yeah.
For sure.
God.
I'm also going to Spooky next weekend in Orlando, so maybe I'll just film
shit.
people
Get
like
some live. Yeah,
Ooh.
get some live streaming going on for that, Bob.
That's what it's about.
Yeah.
On location.
Yeah.
So yeah, check us on YouTube. Still got the behind the scenes. We still got the Twitch streams. We still got some old school Bob's Blu-rays on there. We got plenty of stuff for you to check
I'm gonna
out.
put out a quick call. If anybody knows how to modify a Switch to be streamed via Twitch, I'm trying to figure that out. I only have a MacBook and a Twitch and a Switch, and they just announced that Resident Evil 1, 0, and 4 are going to be re-released on the Switch. So I would like to get in on this if we could. I just gotta figure out if I can switch it or not. If not, then it's up to you guys. It's up to Juicy. But that's all.
We'll
I just
check
want
it
to.
out,
If
Randy.
anybody
I'll-
knows more than me, please help me out. I've been trying for like a week.
Dude, so many times just in like the gaming realm, so many of our Twitch followers have like helped me out. Like, hey, dude, you need to go over here, or like I'll just like keep dying. So I'm sure somebody's gonna hop in there and give you some hope.
Cool.
Well, I hope so. Anybody has any tips and tricks? No magazine pun intended. I would happily accept.
Randy's clanking that tiki glass around.
Is that coming in
Was
so
abandoned.
loud?
It's really funny.
Sorry,
Yeah.
everybody. I have to drink my medicine.
Oh boy.
Mhm. Cool. Yeah, I think that's all for the housekeeping. Let's go ahead and talk about what we've been watching this week, gentlemen. Oh, Randy, what have you been watching?
I've been watching a few things, and like most of it has been good this week. It's been a good week for me watching and viewing new things.
Prove it.
I got to finish Russian Doll. Has anybody else finished it or watched it at all?
I've seen it. Yep.
You've seen it?
Yeah.
It is great. I want to say it's pretty much unapologetically. I think it's fucking great. It's one of my favorite things to come out this year so far, and it's got that perfect slow build sort of situation that I really enjoy, and that sort of like I've mentioned it on the podcast before. That's why I bring that up, because I only watched a couple episodes and I was like, okay, it's intriguing enough, but by the end of the season, it's like it proves that there are points to every strand they have going in that series. Like they really have really good command of the narrative and what they're displaying on screen and what they're not. It's fucking great, and it like I didn't think that you could really improve on the formula of relive the day over and over again that Groundhog's Day really perfected in my mind. But they added something new to this without spoiling it that really sort of changed the game for me, and I thought it was fucking great. I really did. Natasha Lyonne just absolutely is like so much fun to watch. Yeah, Shane, did you feel the same way or?
Yeah, exactly. You don't want to give any spoilers, but Natasha Lyonne is just on fire. And the story grabbed me as well because it went places I wasn't expecting. And I'm thinking, where is it going to go next? But then it goes there. So,
Yeah.
Good choice, that one.
Yeah, I was pretty pleased with that. And it's what's shocking to me is that I haven't seen a lot of buzz around this show since like the first week it was out. Like people aren't really talking about it. I went on YouTube to see if people had like hot takes on it, and there really aren't a lot. Most people either really like it and are just gushing like I am, or they're not talking about it. So I just want to get more eyes on that shit. I think it deserves it. Aside from that, I also watched Leaving Neverland and the accompanying document or whatever, the Oprah special that came with it, which was extremely hard to watch, extremely disturbing on a lot of levels, and sort of confronting a question that a lot of people have had for a long time. And wherever you fall on the divide of it, personally, I'm like, it was pretty convincing stuff to me. But regardless, like some terrible things have happened to the people. And I don't know if anybody. I guess I should say this documentary is about the Michael Jackson scandal with young boys, and there are a couple of men now who are saying that they were abused by him as young boys, but they didn't recognize it as abuse because they were children. And it's just like, just purely taken as a case study of what could happen, even if you don't believe it, because apparently there's still holdouts on that, and I don't want to like turn them away, but just what could happen to somebody who is saying they were abused at that age. I think it's a very important piece of work. It's very, very important. I think that they really nail this idea of, abuse isn't just, punching somebody in the face or saying do this or I'll hurt you. It's a coercion. It enters this manipulation field that people don't really like immediately think of when they think of people abusing other people in this way. So I think it's really important work, and I think it's great. So both of those are great to me, and I'm going to go ahead and pass the torch now.
Cool. Juice, what you been watching?
I finished up that Umbrella Academy, and I gotta say that I went into that show. I mentioned it briefly last week when I had started it. I was like, I don't know, a couple episodes in, and I went into that show with a little bit of a bias, like, oh my god, like another show based on another comic book about some more superheroes that are in a family that's all torn up. Like there's a lot of cliches going on in this show. But I will say that I finished it, and it actually turned out pretty solid. I actually thought the story itself and the way it was adapted, and they brought in like some really solid actors. The characters were really interesting, and I liked how it played out. The style, they did that thing. I'm getting a little tired of it, but where it's like music has to be infused to everything. Like, there's this shootout scene, we have to throw in like an old school, like really popular song. And that's getting tiring a little bit. But other than that, I actually, I got to give it its props, because I was like, kind of going in with a bit of that bias. But it turned out like really solid. I found myself wanting to just be like, I really want to watch the next episode. I really want to watch the next episode. So I was able to burn through it. It's like, I don't know, 10 or 11, full hour episodes total. And I went through it in about a week. So I ended up towards the end there, I really kind of caught my attention. So I finished that up. And what else? I think that's probably about it. I had just a wild St. Patrick's Day weekend, so I didn't have a whole lot of time to to watch a whole lot of things. Just some Irish. It's crazy because I'm in Korea, and so I was at this like Irish pub, and like there was this band of like 10 to 12 people, and half of them were like Irish looking fucks, and half of them were Korean. And they were just like getting down, like some of them had like the penny whistles, and some of the accordions were kicking, and like the damn fiddles were kicking. And I mean, like, it's cool though. They were getting down. I've got some video, I'll throw them up on the Instagram or whatever. But yeah, it was a good St. Patrick's Day weekend. One up for the O'Toole clan. I did a Guinness, a green beer, and a Jameson shot back to back for the O'Toole clan.
A green beer? What? No specification on that.
No, it literally just comes in.
It's a Bud
the
Light.
green beer, and it comes out the tap green. So it's like,
Yeah, it's a Bud Light.
BL Live.
Fermented food coloring.
Cool. Shane, what you been watching, man?
Well, like Justin, I watched The Umbrella Academy, but I finished it probably all in one hit about 2 weeks ago. And I agree. I knew about the book because it comes from graphic novel about 10 years ago or something that was released. I hadn't read it, but I knew about it. because of My Chemical Romance too, being a fan. And yeah, it was pretty good. And I'm very selective when it comes to TV because I have to review and watch so many movies for work. I only watch certain shows like True Detective and Umbrella Academy and Russian Doll, things that pique my interest. So yeah, I agree. I thought it was worth watching and it was pretty good. And I'm not a big superhero fan. I've seen Captain Marvel, of course, a couple of times now. I didn't mind it. You know, it's low key, not one of the better Marvel films, but I'm not a superhero nut anyway. But it's okay. Greta, I think Bob talked about Greta last week on the episode.
Yeah.
I liked it, probably a little bit more than you, Bob, but it could have just gone that bit further, and it seems to hold back. But for a stalker movie and for what the concept was, the acting especially was pretty good. But it just could have gone that little touch further. Doesn't go there. What else? A really cool movie called The Hamiltons. I'm not sure when it was made, maybe the late 2000s. It's about two teenagers whose parents have died and they live alone now, but just suburban house. But they have this real dark secret and shit goes on in their house. So that's all I'll say. It's called The Hamiltons. Don't let anyone spoil it. Heathers, the original film, is turning 30.
Nice.
So it's 30th anniversary, and I'm presenting a screening of it at my local cinema soon. So I'll watch that again.
Ooh.
Yeah. I've been doing that a bit lately because there's so many cool movies having their like 25th or 30th anniversary. And finally, Dead Calm. I revisited that. The Nicole Kidman, Sam Neill, Australian movie.
Billy Zane.
Yeah, and Billy Zane, who we're going to talk about today.
Yeah.
It's a really good. I remember seeing it on the big screen for the first time in CinemaScope. It blew everyone away in Australia, and then of course became a big hit around the world. And Dead Calm, yeah, it was good movie to watch again. And
I don't know if I've ever heard of that.
Royalty.
Oh yeah.
It's just
That's
basically
George Miller.
Yeah, George Miller from Mad Max, and Philip Noyce. He's the director. George Miller was the producer. It's Sam Neill's married to Nicole Kidman. They're on like a yacht, a vacation, because their child has died recently in the middle of the ocean. And then they come across Billy Zane, who's just floating.
As you do.
He had to abandon the ship. So they take him on board, but then it just creates chaos. So
yeah, it's a hitchhiker movie in the ocean.
In the ocean, yeah.
Yes.
That's interesting.
Pretty good. It is. And actually, that's the best way to describe it. It's interesting. Like you're like, I'm compelled to watch this.
Yeah.
Just to see.
Intriguing.
Yeah, well, I'm surprised I see movies you guys haven't seen. You're on point.
Shang.
Shang the Mang. What you talking
about? Oh boy, you are too kind.
But I was having a few beers in an Irish pub in Sydney yesterday. No green beer though. But it was funny. The Irish band was playing, and all the bogans were like hanging around the dance floor. And I stood back and just had a drink and shook my head at them. But it was fun.
That's the best.
The old bogan.
I love the bogan revolution.
Dude, Camp Bogan. That's got to be a new thing.
Camp Bogan Creek. Let's go.
Camp
Bogan Creek.
I'll buy that T-shirt.
I'll make that horror movie. Let's start a GoFundMe. We'll make the Bogan Creek movie.
Dude, we got a brand now.
For those unaware, Bogan is Australian for cooter. Camp Cooter Creek essentially is what we're talking about.
Yeah.
And if this is your first episode and you don't know what a cooter is, then you got some work to put in.
Episode 200 will help you out.
True. We'll get more into it later this evening as well. Cesar, what you been watching, man?
Not too much. I have been playing a lot of South Park: The Stick of Truth. I'm a little behind on that one.
Yeah.
And then I got The Fractured But Whole. And
have you started that?
Not yet, but Sarah is really disappointed in me.
That you're playing it?
Oh, she's like, I didn't know you liked South Park that much. And I was like, well, because I never had cable when we were going out, and now that we have Hulu, it's on like Donkey Kong. And she's like, yeah, I guess. So I stopped. So I had to take a little quick break. I did watch a little bit of Umbrella Academy, and I had read the graphic novel ahead of time. It's that you were saying, Justin, that there's got to be a hit song, a top 40 song, every cool scene in the show. And I'm looking at it like, you guys are not Forrest Gump. There is one Forrest Gump, and you, sir, Umbrella Academy, are not it. Because that's pretty much like, I think that's the best movie that did that, when you didn't really catch it, or maybe most people did catch it. But it's not the same. I've been watching The Orville a lot. I'm a huge Star Trek fan.
That's that McFarlane thing, right?
Yeah. It's surprisingly more Star Trek than Star Trek Discovery, which is weird to say.
It's weird to hear because I don't know what that means.
Yeah, there we go.
I'll just get in my locker then, okay? Don't choke me with your Letterman jacket.
Damn.
Okay.
Randy,
I can't believe Sarah's
Randy.
more upset about South Park than this. I became a jock overnight. I don't know if you guys.
She's actually been watching The Orville with me. Like, she really likes it. Yeah. But I'm trying to think. Oh, Doom Patrol. I know it costs a little bit for that DC app, and unless you are a huge comic book enthusiast regarding DC, it ain't worth it. But Doom Patrol is probably the best original programming they have on there. It is really good. Cast is solid. Alan Tudyk is one of the villains on the show, and
That's awesome.
He is great. He's just fun to watch.
He's a good actor.
He is great. He and Brendan Fraser are also on the show.
Brendan's
together.
in that shit.
Holy shit, Brendan Fraser.
Guys, I highly recommend Doom Patrol. It is going to scratch that itch of a superhero show that's not trying to be a superhero show. Like, it's pretty good. Like, there's like this trend where either everything is trying to be Marvel or everything is trying to be Alan Moore's Watchmen. You know, where it's like, we're superheroes. It's all, there's no in between.
Zack Snyder's Watchmen.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same thing. Postmodern superheroes. Everybody's flawed. Or there are no flaws. You know, Doom Patrol is just kind of like, yeah, we're really messed up and we're not trying to, we're just weird characters. Like, this is the comic book that X-Men came out to compete with. So, like, there's a dude in a wheelchair and there's weird costumed individuals, but like, you can see, like, oh man, like, yeah, Marvel definitely totally not ripped it off, but tried to compete. It's good. I recommend it.
Doom Patrol.
I had a question, but as I was listening to you, I lost it. So it's good.
We were
The
too.
drinking's catching up to me.
It's in the bottom of your tiki mug.
Just don't beat me up.
Whatever.
So you were saying Brendan Fraser was in it. How is he? Is he good?
He is great. He plays kind of like a piece of shit NASCAR driver who's like really famous, and he gets into a horrible accident, and the only thing that's left is his brain, and they stick it inside of a robot body.
Yeah.
What? That sounds really funny, actually. I do enjoy what you're.
It's freaking great. It's so much fun.
So is he Timothy voice acting primarily, or is he in it?
I think he's actually in the suit. And Timothy Dalton plays the main guy who's kind of like the Professor X of the team. It's so much fun.
Nice.
I hope old Brendan Fraser gets a little comeback. You know, that dude was killing it back in the day, and he just kind of fell off.
Yeah.
He had the good mummy and everything.
The good mummy.
People really love that movie, but
Tom Cruise. I got through that Leaving Neverland documentary as well, Randy. That shit's hard to get through, man.
It's serious stuff, man. It really is.
It's pretty overwhelming and like just very damning. I was sort of, as far as like the Michael Jackson thing, like, did he do these horrible things or did he not? I didn't know, but like after watching this series, this like 4-hour documentary, it's like there's not really much of a question in my mind. Anyways, these guys are like very convincing, and like the level of detail provided is like
Oh my God.
disturbing.
Do you
to say
think
the
that's
least.
a little risky, though? I'm a little worried about our culture and that kind
Yeah.
of standpoint and the way that documentaries seem to like really guide things these days. But it's,
Yeah,
I haven't
that's
seen
what
it.
you're
I
saying.
haven't seen it, you know,
It's,
but
Yes and
kinda
no.
like-
You got to make your
Right.
own decisions. And to me,
Yeah.
like just on a one-to-one basis, they're pretty fucking convincing guys. They're like the things that they're saying are things that some of it is confirmed by police reports. Some of it's like things that they're saying are both. There is some hard evidence, but the stuff that there isn't, they are telling in excruciating and perpendicular detail.
Yeah,
that
there's
really
so
hard
much
to ignore.
overlap in their two stories, and they didn't really like know each other. But there's like what they're saying is essentially the same thing. It just seems like there's this sort of like a pattern that was
Like a consistency.
put in place
Yeah.
potentially for like multiple children, and he just I don't know.
You know,
It's worth watching if you can stomach that kind of thing.
even setting aside like whether or not you want to make a judgment call on one of the world's most popular people that ever lived in the last 20 years or whatever, like setting that aside and setting aside the judgment call, it's pretty powerful stuff purely on a look how people can get manipulated basis.
Yeah.
Like it's almost it's like most true crime that is worth watching. It's a cautionary tale about who you put your faith in and how people can turn innocuous acts into heinous acts of the worst kind. And it's not even like I don't know. I don't want to discount the people that have doubts because like as far as hard evidence, there's only whether you're convinced or whether you're not at this point. And but for my money, I'm pretty convinced. And setting that aside, even it's a testimony of another kind. It's like cooter hunting. It's mind hunting for sexual predators. It is.
They stole my job.
They stole your
Yeah.
job.
There's this one scene. I think it's in the second half of the documentary where one of the guys pulls out this little jewelry box filled with these rings that Michael Jackson bought him, and they're like, they were purchased when this guy was a child, so they don't fit him now. They're like child-sized rings, but they're like diamond studded, like gold, like obviously expensive jewelry.
I mean, Mike
it's
bought one of
just-
their families a house after he testified in his defense. So
Right. Yeah,
take from
yeah.
that what you will.
It's just there's a lot of pretty damning evidence, and obviously the man's not.
There's a lot of
alive
emotions
anymore,
wrapped up in it, as far as fans go. But
You're ignorant.
Yeah, I don't know what good it does currently, but it is. If nothing else, it's sort of like a warning, like be more aware.
Yeah.
I
Like,
guess.
absolute bottom rung of it is nobody disagrees that this is a man that chose to sleep in a bed with a bunch of children. Probably not a good idea. Like even if you just sleep in there, probably
as
not
a
a fucking good idea.
That's the
rule.
only thing.
Yeah, I mean,
get
if
from
that's
it.
all you take, at least that's something. Nobody
Yeah,
disagrees that was
Those
a
are
bad
words to live
idea.
by.
Yeah. I also blasted through True Detective season 3 this weekend. I admittedly I couldn't get through the second season. I got maybe halfway into it and just gave up. But I completed the third season, and I actually think it's a bit of an improvement on the first season as far as like the story as a whole. Like Matthew McConaughey's character in that first season, like they can make a million seasons of this show, and I feel like that character is always going to be the most interesting character they write. But as far as like the overall story arc, I think the third season does a better job at sticking the landing than the first season does. They kind of, the whole like, the time is a flat circle thing is like sort of just told to you in the first season. I feel like in the third season they really just show it. They like really kind of put it on the screen for you in an interesting way. I think it's definitely worth watching. Anyway, so that's what I've been watching. Let's go ahead and get into the main event and talk about Demon Knight.
Bordello of Blood.
Ooh, guys, nice.
For Demon Knight of Blood. Let's talk about Demon Knight. Start with the back of the box. Cesar.
Feels good. Feels good.
Bring us in for a landing, baby.
All right, let's see if I can do this one.
Hello, kiddies. Your old pal, the Crypt Keeper here. Our next tale deals with Frank Baker, a guardian of an ancient key that can unlock tremendous evil. The sinister but charming collector is a demon who wants the key so he can initiate the apocalypse. Speaking of the apocalypse, your old pal, the Crypt Keeper's been going on a 90s heartthrob binge. Oh, Billy Zane's not the first one in my spectacular. Anyway, creep out of trouble. I'll be watching.
God, it's like watching fucking a pinnacle Robin Williams do his shit. I love this. This
Man,
is
too
great.
kind, too kind.
Quick, turn your elbow into a vagina. Go. Go.
Wait, what? What the
Good
fuck?
job. That's
What
the
was
only
that
thing I remember from Robin Williams' HBO stand-up is his arm is so hairy.
I
He
don't
pretends
know
it's a
that.
vagina, and he like eats it out. Anyway.
I don't remember that bit.
Nobody,
It is not
nobody, it's crazy. He's also
You're
so sweaty.
specific
He's so
bit
sweaty.
to reference. I love that.
Oh,
You're alone in your principles, Bob.
I usually am.
Shit.
Anyway, it's worth watching. It's worth watching.
Oh man.
I was lucky enough to interview Robin Williams once, but luckily he had long sleeves on.
He could resist
Holy-
eating out his own arm crevice.
Thank God.
As
The
if
only way
it
he
were a
could resist.
vagina. Good
That's so
lord.
cool.
Anyway.
I don't know how I'd handle that. Be like, well, Robin.
What do you want to
I mean,
talk
he's,
about?
He's on
I
the
will do
stage.
anything.
He can do whatever he wants. It's Robin fucking Williams.
Oh,
Robin did whatever he wanted. Well, whatever. We're not going there.
everything
Love
about
Robin.
this is great.
Yeah. So we're talking about Demon Knight, courtesy of Vincent C. Thanks again, Vincent, for supporting us on Patreon. This is a movie that obviously Randy had seen before. I don't know if any of the rest of us have, but let's go around the table real quick and just talk about whether or not we were familiar with the movie, and if we recommend people check it out. Randy, you don't have to say. I'll start with Justin. Justin, what do you think?
I had never seen this movie, and in fact, even though we've talked about it a ton, I always just assumed it was like Demon Night, like it's nighttime outside.
Yeah.
And so I was even surprised that it was like the K
Evil
night. Yeah. So no, I actually, and even I went back and listened to the Bordello of Blood episode, and I had mentioned at that point, I feel like I had seen scenes from Bordello of Blood growing up, as it was on like HBO and stuff like that. None of like Demon Knight even like stood out to me, like, oh, maybe I've seen this or maybe I've seen clips of this. So it was all completely fresh and new to me. So
I don't want to blow your mind, buddy, but there's a movie called The Dark Knight, and guess what? There's a K in that shit too.
Oh shit!
What?
You're blowing my mind, Randy.
Yeah, man.
Randy's sipping DMT out of that tiki mug.
Oh shit.
Hey Shane, how you feeling about Demon Knight, man? You recommend? Oh, Juice, you didn't recommend or not, did you?
Oh, I would recommend.
Okay.
I had a blast with it. I thought it was fun as shit.
Cool. Shane, how you feeling?
I saw it when it was released in the cinemas down under, like I pretty much saw everything as a kid. And I don't know if I liked it as that much back then, but revisiting it, I watched it probably a couple of years ago, and then I saw it again on Blu-ray for the first time because I bought a copy for our episode today. And yeah, I agree. It was a blast. It was a lot better than I expected. I cranked up the sound. It was a lot of fun, and some funny one-liners in it too. And Dick Miller too, who's unfortunately just passed away. So yeah, it's got a lot going for it. I liked it, and yeah, I would recommend it.
Pour one out for Dick. Cesar, what about you, man?
Oh yeah, I grew up with this movie, man. It was the movie I would go to like my friend's house because I wasn't allowed to watch it at my house, and his dad was a piece of shit, so he was just like, it's never around.
Awesome.
Well, all right.
He was like,
Lucky you.
Dude, this kid was like Corey Feldman's character in The Goonies. Like, you never saw his parents. Like, he was that guy. So I'm like,
He
yeah,
never
I'm going
said die.
Yes. He's taken them all back.
Gotcha.
But I saw this movie a long time ago, and I've been watching it forever. I own it. Soundtrack's freaking great. I don't know if we're going to get into that a little bit later, but I definitely recommend this movie. Anytime comedy and horror are mixed together, and especially if they're referencing a comic book, I am on board.
Gotcha. It's a blend of all the shit you love.
It is everything I love.
It's in your fucking DNA, son.
Ooh, yeah.
This is the second time I watched this movie. I actually enjoyed it this time around much more than the first time, just because I think the first time I watched it, I wasn't expecting it to be quite so tongue-in-cheek. Because when I was a kid, watching Tales from the Crypt on HBO just legitimately terrified me.
Yeah, oh yeah.
So that's obviously not the case when you're an adult. It's super cheesy. It's fun if you just kind of like turn your brain off and let it wash over you. Billy Zane is great.
Yes.
I guess I use that word kind of loosely.
Oh no, he's wonderful.
He's fun to watch at least. I give it like a light recommend. Randy, what do you think about Bordello?
This is
How
the
was your movie?
shining gem in the Dennis Miller oeuvre.
Dennis
I
Miller
agree.
bringing it back.
He is so on top of it in the way that he is not in reality. It's Corey Feldman. My God, he starts out with this George Michael look. It's pretty fabulous, and then he ends up with this fucking Evil Ed look at the end. What's not to like about Bordello of Blood? It's the greatest.
If I remember correctly, we gave Corey Feldman the Cooter of the Week back in the day. Randy, do you agree with that assessment?
I don't know when you were talking about, but yeah.
For that movie, for Bordello specifically.
Yeah, I don't know. We've never reviewed that, so I don't know what. I don't know how you come to that conclusion. I'll be honest. Like the Cooter question came up to my mind multiple times because I want to say that probably I want to put it in the 70th percentile of Cooters are represented in this movie.
Oh yeah.
Or rather, 70% of the cast are representable as Cooter, including Dennis Miller, who just straight up catcalls a woman into working and into paying him to be his private her private detective. But I can go into that more when we start reviewing Bordello of Blood a little more.
Randy,
for the first
I feel like he saw a different movie.
It feels that way a little bit.
It only feels that way.
I'm not hearing it.
Everybody experiences Bordello of Blood in a different way. So, like, if your heart's in a different place, man, I'm not going to tell you Bordello's not for you, man.
Oh,
It's
thanks,
about my
bud.
Bordello of Blood experience, not yours. This is mine.
Right. You know what? And I would hate to try and cheapen or take away your experience, man. You're right.
That's really kind of you to say. I appreciate it.
I like this podcast for that reason, you know?
I feel like Vincent
All think different things about Bordello of Blood and all be right. It's great.
Vincent, in a way, gave you like the opportunity to atone for your sins here, Randy, to like make up for having watched the incorrect movie last time on episode 150. He's giving you a shot to make good on it here.
I can't imagine what you're talking about.
I actually feel bad for Randy this time around because last time we all watched the shitty one and Randy watched the good one, and now we all get to enjoy the good one and Randy's alone in his shitty movie.
And you guys really hated Bordello of Blood.
Whoa.
We really
Not all of us. Not all of us.
I mean, God, we haven't heard the ratings for Bordello of Blood yet, but I'm expecting them to be kind of low overall.
Hey, Randy, I've got to ask, do you like Dennis Miller? I didn't get those jokes.
Oh no! I want to make it clear. All right, like kayfabe off. Let's be real. Dennis Miller can suck every bag of dicks in the country, as far as I'm concerned. He's terrible. He's terrible in person. In his person, I was already biased against him. I already don't like him. So, in fairness, I don't like the man. But everything I say positive about him is absolutely the opposite of what I'm thinking.
All right.
And,
I just didn't get his humor.
Babe on.
Yeah, just to be very clear, on episode 150, Randy just watched the wrong damn Tales from the Crypt movie. So now
I don't
we're,
think
we're
you're
all watching.
representing
complete
history
accident.
correctly.
He's watching the one that we watched on episode 150 and vice versa. That's the premise of the show. So let's get in to the actual review here and talk about Demon Knight for the most part, but then also a little bit of Bordello of Blood. I'm going to drop the spoiler warning, and we'll get into it. Here we
Dude,
go.
the opening shot of this movie like had me sold. I was like, they're doing that car chase or whatever, and it's got I don't even know the name of that song. Cesar, what the Hey Man, Nice Shot or whatever.
Oh, Filter.
Yeah, it had that song kicking, and fucking Billy Zane's got his like cowboy hat on, and he's like chasing him, and like from that, like it was the opening scene. I was like, "Fuck yeah,
Well,
let's go."
You skipped the Crypt Keeper setup before
Okay,
the
well,
real movie
my
starts,
bad. Yeah, there is. Okay, yeah,
which is an immediate half star by your scale
of
because
course.
in proper like Tales from the Crypt fashion, there's just nudity and gore
Yeah,
right
I
off the
completely
bat.
forgot about that. Actually, yeah. Okay.
But there's also humor with John Larroquette.
Sure. Very true.
Who would
That,
have
melting
seen?
Man? Awesome.
Who would have seen a William Sadler cameo come up? That's crazy.
And a Whoopi Goldberg cameo, Randy. What did you think about
in
that?
the same movie? I'm so glad we're on the same page on that.
Nice.
Oh man. So yeah, Crypt Keeper, fucking great way to start any movie. Per usual. And
How
then,
did they do
Billy
that
Zane.
back in the day? Because it looks like a little wonky. It's like kind of got like this claymation kind of look, but
Yeah.
is that what it was?
Stop motion photography mixed with like blue screen.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Sounds good.
no
That
green
sounds
screen.
plausible.
Yeah, they didn't even have green screen back then.
Couldn't afford it. Had to go.
Blue.
Man, they were stuck with blue. What a bunch of idiots.
Green hadn't been invented yet.
You know what I like is when we explain the
St.
jokes.
Patty's Day was a crap affair.
Me too. It makes them.
I
So
would,
much
I
more
would
enjoyable.
say I'd say a lot of the budget for this movie would have gone to the practical special effects because they were pretty
Yeah.
effective. Bordello of Blood had some pretty good effects, but this one sort of stepped it up, I thought.
Did
Yeah,
you
I
know
think
that
this
they
was
use glow sticks for the eyes? Did anybody know that?
No.
I was going to say, I think that Demon Knight has the luxury of being more approachable than Bordello of Blood. Like, it seems like they made Demon Knight for everybody, and that they made Bordello of Blood for like hipster
It's
vamp,
Miller.
like I mean, you say that, but it's almost fitting that they cast him
type.
because he was kind of like the hipster sort of like, hey babe, if you don't get these vampire jokes, I don't know what to tell you, babe.
Yeah,
okay?
like it was for reference humor dorks at the time.
Right, like it was like they cast, God, Chris Sarandon, and everybody's like, remember him from Fright Night?
Right.
It's like,
that's right.
but like Demon Knight's kind of like, oh, we got a crazy cast of people, and Shane, you were talking about Dick Miller being in it, like it's got something for everybody. Like if you were, even if you were a nerd back in the day and you remember Dick Miller from like Twilight Zone episodes, you could like watch this movie and it's an anthology show like Twilight Zone was. You can kind of get into it, but I don't know. I think that's the biggest difference, and that's why I think it, as Justin put it, it's the good one.
Jada Pinkett Smith.
She's good.
Yeah.
She's pretty good.
Actually, yeah, she is
Yeah.
good.
She nails it, in my opinion. But why are we talking about this?
She's not in this movie. She's not in this movie. So yeah, Billy Zane going absolutely apeshit, showing the scenery in this movie. I think one of my favorite. There's a lot of really great like one-liners in this movie actually, but the first part where like they kind of out him and he jumps through the window and he spills his like green ass blood on the ground and creates the demons or whatever, and he just like throws on this wonky like southern accent and
motherfucker.
exactly pound down. Yeah, just like goes ape shit. I love it.
That is, I was about to mention, like for real, that is also my favorite Billy Zane scene. He goes total ham.
He does. It's incredible. There's like there's like a couple beats in this movie where like they just give you a ton of shit, and then there's like 10 or 15 minutes of nothing, and then they give you a ton of shit. It like feels kind of uneven as far as the pacing is concerned, but when it's banging on all cylinders and everybody's chewing scenery and there's demons and just like crazy quips flying, it's great.
Like you would expect a movie like this to be very, very exposition-y in a obvious hackneyed sort of way. But this is the one movie I remember watching where it was like they showed more than they told. You know, like you're just getting little clips of William Sadler's life. Yeah. You don't really know what the hell he is or why he's there until.
Yeah, I totally forgot about that whole backstory.
Yeah,
that was good.
Yeah, I was surprised that it wasn't like, you know, I'm a demon knight, and every century I have to fill this thing with more than Jesus blood, so that way I can keep the demons away before the stars align. Then he looks at the camera. Everybody got that? Like, no, it's like they just showed Jesus on a cross and a demon and some guy shaking hands, and you're like, what the hell is happening right now?
They do have a quick...
It's like Any Given Day on Wall Street.
They have an info dump like towards the end where they talk about 7 keys and like one of them landed on Earth and all that stuff. But yeah, it's not like not everything. It's just like kind of enough.
Yeah.
To get you where you need to be.
They don't tell you anything about him. Like they just tell you like, okay, yeah, here's what you need to know to survive.
Yeah, that whole like Jesus flashback when it first happens, it's like, wait a minute.
What the hell?
That's way more high concept. That's way more high concept than you expect this movie to be. Like just on a
also
like
that 90s style too. I immediately just think of like Nirvana or whatever. I think of that Nirvana music video. I'm like, holy shit, this is the 90s right here. Like it's just got that look.
So it's funny you mentioned that because everybody on this soundtrack wouldn't be like all of my friends that didn't like Nirvana loved this soundtrack when we were in high school. And it was because you had the Gravediggers on it, like freaking the RZA's like Misfits wannabe rap band, where like it was just horrorcore but like hip hop, and it was freaking awesome. And then you get like Megadeth with Diadems. I was like, holy shit, like it's like pretty legit. The only kind of butt rocky song that's really on there, I'd say 2. One of them is the song that Ministry did, and the other one is the Hey Man, Nice Shot.
Yeah.
But, you know, hey, what are you going to do? It's the 90s.
It's the 90s.
You got to have some on there.
You got to Pinkett. You got Pinkett on the payroll. You got to do something.
Oh, is her band on this soundtrack?
No, God. Wicked Wisdom? Ugh, disgusting. It's not good.
I have to listen to it now.
They are fucking terrible. I am ashamed that she says her band is a metal band.
Rob, you did know she was in a metal band. We discussed it last episode.
Oh, deleted. Sorry.
Hey, do you guys remember Silverchair, the Australian band?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're awesome. They appeared on a few soundtracks. This is a good soundtrack. I just want to agree. I don't know a lot of the songs though, but they're good. And it fits for the film. And
sure.
As for Jada's band, I love Jada. She's hot and she kicks ass in this, but I'll give her music a miss.
To put it politely.
Yeah, I don't want to be rude.
Yeah, it's fucking terrible.
I mean, I'm really not into Anthrax, so the Bordello soundtrack just does not really. It's just not for me.
So
it never gets old, Randy.
It better not, because I got another hour of this shit.
And that tiki cup reminds me of Brady Bunch. I think they got it in that.
Oh, nice.
It's equally bad luck.
Reference YouTube. See Randy's tiki mug.
Man, we should sell tickets to this one.
On sale now at straightchillingpodcast.com.
.69.gov.
.gov.
.com.69.
Oh, that is. Yeah, that government payroll. So, like, both of these movies are sort of centered around brothels for some reason. That seems to be like a common thread. And I know they were going to make a third movie, but I guess they canceled it.
Oh, no. They made it.
This is probably something you also told me about last time. And
Ritual.
I also forgot.
Ritual
okay.
came out. It was almost...
Brothel?
No.
Okay.
It's almost like a remake of from the first season where they started playing around with the voodoo zombie stuff.
Oh, okay.
But it's god awful. It's not good. Like it's like Tales from the Crypt, but it's written in really small letters. like Tales from the Crypt. It's Ritual. You know. Like,
Sorry, what was that?
What'd you say? Yeah, it's not good.
Noted.
Yeah.
So Billy Zane punches through a cop's head and says "heads up," and that's fucking great.
It's good.
He's also got some sweet dance moves. Damn, Billy Zane.
Billy Zane in this movie reminds me very much of, and I don't know the actor's name, but
Kids Don't Lie, Paxson.
The Randall Flagg in The Stand, where he's just like sort of like this party dude who's hanging out and wanting to reap your souls and shit. Like you know what I'm talking about? Like you've seen.
Of course.
Who among us has seen The Stand, the '90s Stand, for better or for worse?
I have
But
not.
the Randall
I own
Flagg
it.
in that is
Yes.
like, hey, what's going on? I'm here to, fucking work on your Trans Am and reap your souls.
Right.
I legit was thinking of like Bill Paxton. What's that vampire movie he's in?
Fucking
Where he
Near
just goes
Dark.
off the rails. Yeah.
Dark. That's a great movie.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
So that's, I don't know. That was kept like flashing my mind a little bit too. Another kind of 90s like weird classic or whatever.
Bill's
But yeah.
wearing denim. That's what I learned.
Except Billy Zane like takes it to like 11, man. His like sometimes you're like, where is he coming from, or what is the inspiration for what he's doing right now? Because he is all over the board sometimes in this.
A lot of cocaine.
I always thought that if they ever did like a Superman movie in like the 2000s, like Billy Zane could have been Lex Luthor just because of this movie. Like,
Yeah.
and the way they were drawing him in like the cartoons, like Lex Luthor kind of looked a little Mediterranean, like had the olive
Actually,
skin
yeah,
and
his
sort of like big lips sort of
his
thing.
animated
like Billy
series
Zane.
appearance looks like Billy Zane a lot.
Yeah,
and even kind
yeah.
of sounds like him a little bit.
Yes, yeah. Like I was like, man, like Billy Zane's cool. Has he always been bald? Oh no, he had hair in Twin Peaks and in The Phantom. And then I'm like, oh no, he had a wig. Oh,
Oh,
say so.
John Justice Wheeler has hair. I don't believe you.
I'm watching those again, by the way.
Billy Zane, Billy Zane had hair in Titanic, and that was like a couple of years after this.
Shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, and The Phantom was filmed in Australia. I just thought I'd add that in.
Oh man, that's awesome.
That's
I
a
like
threat.
Billy
That's the
Zane.
one with the
Billy Zane.
purple. He's in a purple suit, right? And he like shoots
Yes.
a gun and everything.
Yes.
Yeah, dude. Holy shit! I haven't seen
That
that.
was
movie.
made up in Queensland, and obviously they expected it to be a huge success and make a franchise out of it, but it's never happened.
Nope.
I think Billy Zane in this has just been allowed to go off script. I mean, he's got partial script, and then he's been allowed to just do his thing, and it works.
Yeah, I mean,
Jesus.
Dennis Miller went off script a lot and really vexed some of the other people involved. Like, they didn't know how to
Like
respond to him
Feldman?
because he's so. Yeah, oh, Feldman was like, "What are you talking about, Dennis Miller? What are you talking about?" And Dennis Miller was like, "Babe, I got it, got birthday." And everybody was like, "Okay, it's Dennis. What are we gonna do? He's the hottest new comic in America."
They had a lot
It's
of
the
tension
90s.
on set. I heard that Feldman and
Oh
Dennis
my
Miller
God,
just did
yeah,
not
he's-
get along.
Feldman, who is not a singer, but a sweetheart of a man, and he
Randy,
said he
you're
was very
coming
rude
in
and
like-
disrespectful.
Half the time, which makes you just like ridiculous banter.
You're
even better.
freezing up.
I think he's frozen.
He's frozen.
Thanks. Oh, there.
No, I think he's just being really still.
We
He's
can't
back.
even-
He's
Look,
back.
Bordello of blood. Bordello blood.
Oh man, he's got
Dennis
Cesar
Miller.
hereditary syndrome.
Yeah. Nope. Maybe. I don't know.
Dude, Billy Zane has a cool little freak out moment when he like sheds his hillbilly look or whatever, or as I think he refers to it as his hillbilly look. I love that little freak out.
When he goes like full demon at the end, is that what you're talking about?
No, like just when when he pours the blood on the ground, like to make the demons, he like just like freaks the fuck out for a second.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he does.
And one of the best things is that he's confident too. His character, he's sort of more or less in control, even though he might not have what he's after. He's in control, and I love his acting in this.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Yeah, it's basically like a cat and mouse game. Like he's trying to get back into the brothel, and he possesses people like one at a time and uses their bodies to kill one another. And he kind of like tries to give them, like tempts them with whatever they want.
Can we talk about Thomas Hayden Church?
In
this
literally
in this movie, he is a perfectly polished asshole.
Like,
Dude, Cooter of the Week.
Dude, he's a piece of shit. Like a terrible human.
They set him up real well at the beginning too. He like bursts
kicks
into the
that
broth.
dog. Oh, he kicks the dog so hard. Like you want him dead. Like you're like, ugh. Yuck.
Oh yeah.
Gets his nipples electrocuted.
Yeah.
Which is pretty
He's
cool.
into it, man.
Whoa, guys. I mean, look.
We've all been there.
I'm not saying anything about that. Am I right?
I mean, that's perfectly understandable.
That's how I
Yeah.
start my day.
You know,
I mean, man's in a brothel. What you gonna do? You know?
warm cup of room temperature milk with bacon bits in it and some nipples.
Are we
in a
back
sock.
on that?
Hey!
On that.
Randy!
Welcome back.
Rattling Randy.
Shaking the
Look, I
cage.
just want to say that the anus kill was the worst. I decided to include that. But there's just a big old tongue in the anus kill, and nobody for it. Just want to say.
You're still
Okay,
breaking up
I
pretty
wasn't
bad,
sure
man.
anus kill. I like make sure that's what I
Yeah,
heard.
is Randy breaking up, or did I hear the word
Oh.
anus?
Yeah,
No.
I heard.
Both.
Oh, good.
Occurred.
It's like the rectum sanctum up in here.
Yeah.
Rectum darn near. Fuck, keep it up.
You
Aw.
guys, I mean, you guys are definitely more professional this year than you were last year.
Are you sure?
Is
Are you
that-
sure?
that
'Cause I
can't
feel
be
like
true.
it's just falling apart.
Yeah, I'm kidding.
Clarification.
In the nicest possible way.
You son of a bitch.
Another miss. That's a shame. So, I don't know. You want to talk about Cooter of the Week? We start talking about Roach. I'm going to drop it. Let's talk about Cooter of the Week. So, I mean,
Yeah,
Roach is my vote.
I mean, Bordello of Blood, it was hard to pin down because Randy's right. There were so it's a very, very high count. For this one, I mean, I feel like Roach is like the specified Cooter. Like he kicks the dog, he starts off, he's getting his nipples batteried up in the brothel. I mean, he fucks everyone to save himself and then ends up dying anyways. I mean, there's you could say like, oh, maybe like Billy Zane and stuff like that. But as far as the like wanting him to die or like being like so excited when he finally gets his like comeuppance, I mean, he fits the Cooter profile like to a T. I mean, that's like what it is. He's like designed for that role. And like it's hard to come up with one that like competes realistically with his Cooter, his
That was kind
Cooterness.
of his bread and butter, like in the 90s. Like being a Cooter was how he made his money. Like,
Yeah,
he was on
he's got
show,
that
Ned
look.
and Stacy.
Yeah.
He does. He asks Cordelia. Well, like he hits Cordelia and like threatens her life later in the movie, and it's pretty shitty. But, like when he first gets into the brothel before he gets his nipples shocked, he asks if she's wearing edible panties, and then as they're like kind of walking off into the distance, it's hard to hear him say it, but he says like, "Oh, they are edible panties, good, because I want pieces of edible panties in my salad later." Like, what the fuck?
Fruit roll up in your salad.
Dude's definitely hitting that sexual deviancy off the scale. Cesar's right, man. He's got that it's easy to cast this dude as a Cooter. He's got like the greasy blonde hair, and he's just got the look for it, man. He just got that Cooter look. He's like he's greasy and like
Well, the clothes,
Fishnet
the
tank
clothes
top
he's
on?
wearing too.
yeah. He just like he hits he tries to manipulate that one guy. He's like, "Oh, you're my friend," or whatever. He's definitely got some smug arrogance. Yeah, he like hits a woman, he hits a dog, he fucks everyone over. So he's a huge piece of shit. So yeah, man. And then when he dies, you're like, "Fuck God, like thank you," you know. So yeah, definitely Roach. Like for my vote, Cooter of the Week for sure.
Yeah, I double down.
Yeah, he's a bogan.
Through and through, Camp Bogan.
Definite.
Established 1969.
I want to point something out about this movie. Actually, I think the connection's better now, so I'm gonna go for it. Since we've gone on this tangent about Demon Knight, I don't know why. So Jada Pinkett's climax in this movie is her spitting the blood of Christ into the face of a demon.
Thank you, Randy. Thank you.
I want to make sure that we all recognize that the nun can eat my asshole, because they did that exact same fucking thing, and they did not they ripped this movie off. They did.
Dude, thank you for bringing that up, because as soon as I saw that, I was like, "Holy!"
I thought about that when I watched The Nun, and I don't know if I brought it up on the podcast or not, but if I did. I meant to, because this fucking movie originated that idea, and it works so much better in this movie because the characters are more likable.
Yeah,
it came out like what, 25 years before The Nun or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, there's no original ideas under the sun, but if you're the Nun, your shitty ideas are even your best ideas are ideas that you've stolen. So
the nun is bad because the context is wrong. Because the whole point of the Nun is that, some things are sacred, so this should work. But in Tales from the Crypt, nothing is sacred. Like, for God's sakes, they drink the blood of Christ and spit it in someone's face. They use holy water and super soakers in the next movie. Like, that's the whole point. And then, like, the Nun, it's like,
yes, we'll use the blood of Christ to take this evil nun down. Valak the Destroyer. Yeah.
I just feel like, I mean, I know this isn't like the world's biggest movie, Demon Knight, but I think the Nun, the Nun needs to be held to task on that shit.
Oh, sure, it was popular.
That shit was stolen.
Yeah, I don't usually go that route because, like I said, there's no original ideas under the sun. But this is such a specific idea at a specific point in the movie where your specific power dynamic is playing out. Whether or not, the only question is whether or not you like the characters and whether or not the world building is adaptive, like Cesar says, to what they're displaying as their climax. And the Nun had fucking... Okay, I don't want to go into that. I don't want to go...
Garbage.
We're already in a tangent. I'm not going to go into tangents of tangents. But...
I'm glad that you brought it up, because I thought I'd seen it somewhere before, but I couldn't figure out where. And I think that's because when I watched The Nun and reviewed it and everything, I just sort of forgot about it afterwards. But yeah, that's what it was.
Well, I had seen it recent. I had seen it within the last year because we on this podcast all reviewed Demon Knight last year.
Yeah, we all on this podcast reviewed that movie. That was Cesar's pick and everything, his sacred pick.
Yep.
That we all honored.
That's right. Yep. It was very nice of you.
I want to make sure that you get credit. You picked Demon Knight, and that was the right choice out of the Tales of the Crypt movies. If you had chosen Portello, can you imagine how stupid that would have been?
Imagine my embarrassment.
Oh, boy. Oh, how embarrassing for you. Oh.
Whew. Good thing that never happened. Are we selling it? Like, is this working?
I don't think the joke has landed yet. You got to keep pushing it.
Okay.
We got to ask Vincent.
There is no joke.
Yeah, that's how comedy works. Commit till no one's laughing.
There's a trick.
Hammering it home.
If you continue past the point of unfunny, it gets funny again, buddy. You just got to come with me up the bell curve.
Oh, for sure. Will Forte is proof of that.
True.
That's a great point. That's a really great point.
Yes, I love Will Forte for that.
Gruber is fucking great, and I don't care what anybody says, but whatever.
It is great. Who do you want me to fuck?
Hey, do you guys think that Tales of the Crypt will ever come back and is a new series? Because I know that they're doing Twilight Zone. That's coming out. Jordan Peele's going to be doing that, but do you think anyone might be interested in doing another series of Tales from the Crypt and maybe making another movie? You never know. It's been a long time.
Was trying to, like,
Shyamalan's going to. And
thought
then
it was
Glass-
coming.
Glass
Thank
happened.
God.
And-
I would,
But
dude.
yeah,
I
there's
would
a lot
not
of rights
trust
issues.
Shyamalan to
I
do
know.
anything.
Yeah, Shyamalan's last
Me
shred of
either.
dignity might be gone.
Well, this isn't even his style. He's not like a
No, it's
campy
really-
kind of guy.
We've never seen a movie of his where he played it primarily for laughs and horror as a set piece with some.
I don't know,
Yeah,
The Visit was kind of that.
I don't think that was
Yes,
a comedic
you're right.
movie.
But
I don't
the
think
thing
that was
is,
all that comedic of a movie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the visit didn't seem comedic to me. I didn't
Huh.
mind it, but it
It
wasn't.
was-
No, I like that movie too, but
Yeah, but it wasn't exploited. That's the thing. His Tales from the Crypt is very,
There's-
very exploited for
there's
sure.
not-
Like
there's not one Dutch angle in The Visit. That's all I'm saying.
nice, nice. I want 60s Batman level Dutch jokes in my.
Well,
fucking
seriously,
Tales from
like the
Crypt.
the fucking Tales from the Crypt movies, I thought that the camera was going to literally flip the fuck upside down at some point.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yep.
like
Yeah, that was like their
Crazy.
go. That was their go-to move a lot.
it is, and for the better, in my opinion. But once you start getting Shyamalan involved, that's just not going to read the same. It's going to be
Well-
Avatar or Tales from the Crypt fans.
You need comedians, man. Like
I agree.
I mean, say what you will about Dennis Miller, but the idea to make a comedian like the lead, and not even a lead, but like he's supposed to be the lead romance, like
Era, the
the guy
romantic
that's-
era.
right. Like it's like, okay, maybe they didn't stick the landing, but A for effort, guys.
You know,
And
like-
throw some gross shit in there and make me laugh. for
Fucking
at least
Danny
50
McBride
seconds.
is primed for this role.
Seriously.
I'm
Dude,
serious.
Danny McBride. If they announced Danny McBride is doing a Tales from the Crypt series, I would be like,
shit.
okay. I'd be
I'd
like,
be
okay.
stoked.
Oh man.
I think he
Yeah.
should, but I mean, who knows if he's interested or if that's his jam or not.
Even
But,
with
like,
John Meegate,
The sort of like pushing the envelope sort of comedy mixed with classic horror tropes and visuals like classic, like that's something I think he could handle, or somebody in that vein anyway.
Yeah,
I
that's
mean,
it.
Yeah, that's the thing. That style of comedy that was forced into Halloween would fit Tales from the Crypt. Like it would be like that's what it was always for and designed to do. Throwing it into the Halloween movie was strange to me because it had never really been there.
Here we go.
No, that's it.
Here we go. Hot takes.
Moving on.
Hot takes.
Hot cakes, I'm down.
that fire still burns in the distance. Don't worry.
Dude, bring me some of them hotcakes.
Give me that. Let me get that ball on me.
I'm with Justin on that one with Halloween. So I got your back.
There you go.
Oh,
Let's
wow,
Yeah,
no.
you got your first
No.
supporter.
That's
Congrats.
a damn
I remember
West
my
Side
first time.
Story fight.
We got the Jets versus the Halloweens or whatever.
Yeah,
Well,
that's
you can appropriate-
that's what it
you can
is.
appropriately
It's-
say the Sharks. I'm Puerto Rican and Jewish, so we're all right.
All right.
Should we go ahead and rate this thing? Is there anything else you guys want to talk about before we do so?
I can't think of anything.
Nada. All right, let's rate this thing. Randy, you're gonna go last because you watched the wrong damn movie again.
Well, I didn't. Okay, go ahead.
He didn't rate. Yeah, he wasn't. Actually, we didn't allow
Man.
him to rate last time,
That's
so I guess he
true.
gets like a double rate now. I don't
Can I
know.
get
Yeah.
a double dip? Can your boy get a double dip?
Yes.
Yeah, we'll get you that double.
I like
shot.
that.
We'll get you that.
Do it.
Right.
All
right.
Why don't you kick us off, and then we'll come back to Randy. Out of five, how do you feel about Demon Knight?
Yeah, man. I feel a lot better about this movie than Bordello of Blood. This is the superior film, in my opinion. It was watching it for the first time, so there's like no nostalgia to it other than just like shit looks 90s as fuck, and it's got the 90s actors. But I mean, just seeing it for the first time, it was still a blast. I had a lot of fun watching it. Billy Zane was fun to watch. The effects were cool. Got a solid cooter in there, which is always fun to just kind of have somebody to like. That element is like so underappreciated. I think like to have somebody to like root against. You know,
No, not
like
here.
what?
Not in
I
these
just,
hollowed
like,
halls.
these days, I mean, just to have that one person like you want to die or you're ready to kill or whatever, it's like it's a lot of fun to have, especially in a movie like this that kind of infuses the comedy and the schlock and just the kind of overall tongue-in-cheek comedy in it and just everything. So I like this movie. Yabos out the wazoo, dude. Old Tales from the Crypt. You can always count on them for the Yabos.
Man, I mean, all the prostitutes in the bordello, they are just numerous, and their tits are just out. So if that's your criteria, boy.
There are more tits in the Dick Miller fantasy scene than there were in Bordello of Blood.
Probably.
Think about that.
Yeah.
I don't rightly recollect that movie. It was a year ago that we all reviewed that movie, but I don't remember.
It's true.
That's a crazy scene, that Dick Miller fantasy.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's getting
How
tempted
they-
by Billy Zane.
How they got away with it, I mean, and he's having fun. It's not like they're digital girls in there. They're real girls that are hugging him and while he's
There's like
going
40,
to drink.
40 girls in there with like booze, and Dick Miller's just how awkward is it? Like he's just like, all right, well,
Dick Miller
Oh, my
probably
mom really
petitioned
loves your
that
work,
shit.
Mr. Miller.
yeah, my cock doesn't work anymore, so
It's like Dick Miller died today on the set of Tales from the Crypt.
Dude,
From
Death by
heart
Snooze now.
palpitations due to breasts.
Too soon.
I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah. So, I think I'm going to give this movie a baseline 3 with a plus half star for the Yabos, taking it to that 3.5.
ooh.
3.5 from
No.
the juice. All right, Shane, how you feeling out of 5?
Yeah, there's a lot to like about this movie. I really, really enjoyed it more than, again, this time than I did when I previously saw it. I love how it ended, too, because the ending was the sort of, it could continue, and how they had a new Demon Knight who just wouldn't get on the bus, and then Jada Pinkett Smith's character just sort of goes off into the sunset. It all worked for me. The Crypt Creeper thing at the tail ends and starts the film, it was okay. You know, it's just something that I guess came with a TV show, which is not something I've ever been familiar with. But for a movie, I recommend it. I liked it. It was good to revisit. And I'll give it 3.5 out of 5. But Bordello of Blood, I'll never watch again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This I will.
Cool. Cesar, how you feel out of 5?
Man, I'm gonna ride this high score you guys or this wave you guys are letting me surf on. I'm gonna give this one a 4.
Damn. Okay.
Yeah, it's got rewatchability. It's fun. I forgot completely, Shane, about the next demon at the end where he's like, it's like, all right, yeah, where to? And he's like, nah, I'll wait for the next one. You know, and
That's a really
he's
good
whistling the Tales from the Crypt theme song, you know, at the end.
Yeah.
It's pretty great. Yeah. Yeah, I loved it.
Nice. Randy,
Hey.
I guess try and rate this movie based on your recollection of watching it.
Okay. All right. So I'm just gonna start with today's movie, Demon Knight. So today's movie, Bordello of Blood. I'm sorry, I said that wrong. I had it backwards. It's never happened to me before where I've mixed up these two movies. It's crazy. So Bordello of Blood. I don't like Dennis Miller. I don't like his face or his comedy, and I don't like watching him pretend to be a romantic lead. I think that really has a major impact on my viewing of Bordello of Blood. So I did, however, think that Feldman did a great job. I really enjoyed watching Feldman do his shit. Like I thought he was crazy and goofy, but like I don't know if maybe the bar's lowered for me for what adult Feldman's capable of, but I think he was fun as fuck to watch. So yeah, between like those two things were kind of like big things in my brain that were going on when I was watching this movie. And then I don't know, like the plot itself was pretty thin. I did kind of enjoy like the ballroom blitz scene where they're shooting everybody with holy water. It's goofy as fuck, but I don't know. I kind of gotten some enjoyment out of it, sort of some baseline enjoyment. I just think it's pretty like thin overall. I don't understand why this was chosen to be the Tales from the Crypt second movie. I don't know. It just like I think it's too thin to be. I mean, I guess because they wanted to include so many goddamn breasts. That's all I can think, and they couldn't justify it on HBO in the early '90s. I don't know. I don't know if that's true or not. But for me, it's very expected. It's very like overly quippy because of Dennis Miller. It's very like silly in a way that's not really enjoyable, and I kind of lose track of it a little bit. I wasn't engaged enough to really keep track of everything that was going on, even. So put that on me if you want. But for my money, my experience watching this movie was about a 2-star experience. So moving on to, since you guys didn't let me vote on Demon Knight last time when we reviewed Demon Knight last year, Demon Knight is a pretty fun movie. I agree with everybody's take on that it was like Billy Zane is fun to watch as a villain. I enjoyed watching him ham it up. And like I think that this movie, like it better accounted for Tales from the Crypt style in terms of taking like classic horror set pieces with sort of modern injections here and there. Having Jada Pinkett was a great idea for the lead, I thought, and pretty like
Uh-oh.
that many
Randy. Oh,
Sorry.
I think he just hit his mic.
Sorry, am I back?
Okay.
You turned it off, yeah, Randy.
Okay. So like the Jada Pinkett, like even at that time, like there weren't that many black heroes in horror movies in the early 90s. I thought that was pretty bold and pretty great that she was able to take that mantle as sort of a final girl, but not really because it's not that much of a slasher. But whatever. I think that it was a lot of fun, and I think that all the characters were pretty fleshed out as opposed to Bordello of Blood, where they were all kind of like half cocked. So, like in direct comparison, I have to say I don't think that it was like the best movie of all time, but I do think that it was fun and it fulfilled the promise of a Tales from the Crypt movie, which the other did not to me. So I would give it a 3.5. I would give Demon Knight a 3.5.
All right.
Cool. I'm gonna come in with a 2.5 on Demon Knight, which is definitely the movie we reviewed today.
Plus a half star for the Yabos, right, Rob?
No, that's your system, not my system.
Okay. Okay. I just want to clarify.
I appreciate that.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I don't know. This movie overall was fairly enjoyable. Like the comedy lands most of the time. Sometimes it's actually a little too hammy for me. It kind of goes a little too far.
How dare you, sir?
I
I know, too hammy for Bob. What the
I
fuck?
know.
Dude who picked that shitty summer camp movie? What are you talking about?
Sleep
Oh,
tight,
no.
champ, sir.
No, I was talking about that other one where the dude burns alive. Whatever.
The Burning.
Yeah. Anyways,
The burning.
More hot takes.
hotcakes. I love
More hotcakes? Bring them my way.
Yeah, and I already mentioned like the pacing of this movie is a little off for me. Like there's certain like moments where it seems like the momentum of the movie just comes to a screeching halt. Like right immediately after the demons first arrive, and like they kind of get locked out of the brothel. There's just like 15 minutes of just like nothing. There's like some dialogue, and then that's it. They're just kind of like moving around this one location, which I think also hurts the movie a little bit. The fact that they're all sort of locked in this one building for like the entirety of the movie. It just feels like a little stale at like maybe halfway through, and like notably like at the 30-minute mark, and like somewhere around or just before the 90-minute mark, it just seems like it just comes to like a screeching halt almost. But when Billy Zane's hamming it up, it's obviously very fun to watch him do what he does and drop the one-liners and whatnot. But overall, it just sort of like doesn't appeal to my taste specifically. But 2.5, and that's going to put the aggregate at a 3.4, which is definitely favorable to Bordello of Blood. Which
That's 1.75 is what you guys gave it. With my addition to that is a 1.9.
Damn.
So,
yeah. So
I think that seems almost like an extreme difference to me, but like I don't know. It's in my mind. I was hovering between a 3 and a 3.5 for Demon Knight.
Yeah.
So to me, it's like it should be like a 1 to 1.5 point differential, but it's more than that.
Yeah. Yeah, Juice gave it a 2, Randy gave it a 2, Cesar 2.5, Shane a 1, I gave it a 1.5. Yeah, the aggregate would be a 1.9, I guess now. So Shane like swore off it, never to be viewed.
Never again.
That's
I like
it. I couldn't do it, and I feel sorry for you, Randy. For actually watching it.
Look, man, we all had to watch it today.
I'm going to watch it again.
Watch
out
it.
of out of spite, Cesar's gonna watch
Watching
it.
Oh
Bordello
no, I
Blood,
like it.
the haters.
No, but mostly out of spite.
Well, I mean, Angie Everhart, she's fantastic. So that's probably where my one came from.
Yes. Angie Everhart.
Let's go ahead and get into the Rotten Tomatoes segment and see what the critters and users have to say about Demon Knight. Take it away, Juice.
Let's hop in here. So, starting with the critics. Unfortunately, there is no critic consensus, which is a bummer. Rotten Tomatoes still looks like doo-doo brown with our new remake, but we have 32 critic reviews counted for Demon Knight. What year did this come out? 1995. So did Bordello Blood, did they come out the same year or a year apart?
It's 95 and 96, I think.
95 and 96. Okay, so Demon Knight came out in 95. So let's go around the table. Let's see if we can guess the critic score first. Last time Shane nailed this on the dot. Let's see if he's as lucky this time.
Pressure.
Let's see. Let's start with Randy. Randy, kick us off. 32 critic reviews, Kana. What do you think they gave Demon Knight?
Demon Knight.
Here we go.
Here we go. Last time you guessed for Bordello Blood, Randy, you got to vote for Demon Knight this time.
Okay, I mean, since you impromptu brought up a different movie, I guess I'll say for Demon Knight, I don't know, like a 69 sounds about right.
Oh,
Okay, right there straight chilling.
That's the comedy number.
You beat me to it.
All right. Shane, what do you think?
Look, I've never been a fan of Rotten Tomatoes. They're so inaccurate. I would say around 30, let's say 32%.
32. All right. Old Bish.
Man, Randy for real did take. I was gonna say 69, so now I'm like rethinking everything.
Go with the 69.69.
I'm about to Price is Right him one way or the other. I don't know how though.
You can 96.
No, that's the opposite of Price is Right. I'm going to 68 him.
68, going one lower. All right, and Bob, finish us off. Finish us off, Bob.
Oh,
Get us
on the
there.
closer. Let me get in there. Finish you right off. I'm going to go with a 45.
A 45. Okay. So, not on the dot like last time, but Shane is going to steal it away again. He voted, wait, what did you say? 32, right?
32.
Yep, 32. And you just narrowly stole it away from Bob because it's a 38. So a 6-point difference versus a 7-point difference. Quick maths. So Shane's stealing away. It is not certified fresh. It is not even regular fresh. It is rotten with a 38%. Let me scroll down Rotten Tomatoes and see what you got. Of the critic reviews counted, 12 are fresh, 20 are rotten out of our 32 critic reviews. So not so great.
That's not a huge sample size. I feel like that's not representative, really.
Well, yeah. Let me. There's no critic consensus, but one of the top critics got this rated rotten, and it says Pick is neither funny enough nor scary enough to be fully satisfying as either a shocker or a spoof. So that's one of the rotten top critics. And
that
then
could go straight to hell.
Yeah, there is one positive, but even though it's positive, it gives a rating of 3.5 or a 3 out of 5. And this is a top critic that rated it fresh. Between scenes of splattering gore in which severed heads literally roll across the floor, the movie has a good time spoofing itself and a gallery of mostly sleazy characters who confronts a crew of bloodthirsty demons. It's like taste, I think.
Demon Knight is a movie for fans of fucking Dead Alive. Like this.
Yeah,
that's the level of polish we're talking about. It's goofy, it's knowingly silly, and it's making its own fucking way regardless. Everybody kind of sucks, and everything is really stupid. But you get some crazy fucking spectacle in that shit.
Dead Alive is way better than Demon.
No, I agree. I
Throw
agree.
that
But
out there.
I'm just saying they're in the same category for me.
Yeah, they're in the same realm of enjoyment as far as like of
Yeah,
you
just
know
the
like
way
of
that
what you're enjoying. Yeah.
Right. What you enjoy about this movie is the same things you enjoy about Dead Alive. Dead Alive is superior, undoubtedly in my mind. But
And
All right.
for the Australian audiences out there, Dead Alive is called Brain Dead.
Brain Dead.
Yeah, Brain
Trying
Dead.
to think
Yeah.
of it. I figured you could fill in the gaps.
I can never remember which one's which. Like I remember both, but I can't remember which one is designated where. So
Right. Yeah. More Sumatran rat monkeys. That's all I'm saying.
yeah. All right, let's hop into the audience score. We will work our way backwards this time. So, Oozer rating of 23,000 on this one. So decent for Tales from the Crypt movie from 1995 on Rotten Tomatoes. So, Bob, kick us off first. What do you think the 23,000 Oozers had to say about Demon Night?
I'm gonna go sort of along the lines of Shane, and I'll give it a 38.
Okay, trying to copy the master, huh? See,
Yeah,
Bob? Okay.
you know what's
Uh-huh. Trying to mimic the master.
Oh,
All right.
you come at the king, you best not miss.
All right. Well, old Bish, I got to say that feels good rolling off my tongue. It's been a while. So,
Ooh, let it
Not
roll.
the first time
Right.
I've heard that.
old Bish.
And always from fully grown men who look like anime characters. I'm gonna say, what did you say, Bob?
He said 38?
38. I'm gonna give it a 41.
41. All right. Shang the Mang, what you got, my guy?
I don't know if I'm going to get used to that, but you can keep saying it. It's fine.
Don't worry, man. You never
just
do.
hammer
I
it
can assure
home.
you never
And,
get used to adjusting.
I mean, I even feel weird saying, "Oh, Bish." I'd rather just say Caesar.
dude, for a while I was little baby boy Caesar, nubile young boy Caesar for a while.
Also, Chatty Cathy, so.
Yeah.
Nubile.
You got to rise through the ranks, apparently. I don't know.
Let me think. I think this movie's sort of being rediscovered because, a lot of people might not have known it that well, and because it got re-released on DVD and Blu-ray, might get a bit of a higher score. So I would say around 50, 55 or 54%.
54. All right. And Randy, close us out, my guy.
I mean, I agree. I feel like the audience is definitely more forgiving for this movie because it's not really for the critics. This movie is clearly, like Demon Knight is clearly for audiences, not for critics, in my opinion. So I don't know. I think the safest option is probably 69.
Yeah.
It's the comedy number.
Wait, Rana, is that going to be your vote?
No, yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
Okay, it is actually. Okay. And to my pleasant surprise, checkmate Randy with the 69. 64% is what the audience has rated this. So Randy is the closest by 5-point spread.
So
yeah.
Bordello blood, which we've never done before.
Nah. That was low all around. I don't think anybody really liked Bordello of Blood.
That makes sense.
User, straight chilling crew, nobody. So on this one, at least it's split. The audience digs Demon Knight. The critics are not as forgiving, but so yeah, we'll split. But that's it. 64% from the audience.
That's great.
Randy, do you have some trivia for Bordello of Blood?
I sure do.
Let's do it. Take it away, dog.
So here's some Bordello of Blood trivia, since that's the movie we're reviewing. So according to Corey Feldman, Dennis Feldman, Dennis Feldman Miller, that's his middle name. Dennis Miller was rude and disrespectful to the cast and crew. According to Feldman, Miller once stole a van from the transportation department and left the set. Feldman and Miller got into a heated confrontation during filming. Heated.
You don't say. That's the first time I've heard this bit of trivia.
Dennis Miller stole a van. I just want to make sure that point is on record. Stole a van. Dennis Miller shot the movie at the same time as he was doing his HBO talk show Dennis Miller Live. To accommodate Miller's schedule, the filmmakers were forced the crew to work weekends and have their weekend days off during the week, which caused tension between the crew and filmmakers, as well as tension between the crew and Dennis Miller. Dennis Miller sucks. I didn't
realize that Randy hated Dennis Miller so much.
I didn't realize it until I read this trivia. I'll be honest. Like I know I didn't like him that much, but this shit really set me off. I was like, fuck this guy. Okay. The key. This is interesting and not Dennis Miller related. The key used in this movie is the same one used in another movie you might remember called Tales from the Crypt Demon Knight. We reviewed that last year. That?
No.
The same key?
So wait, what key? What key was in Demon Knight?
The cross.
Okay, like
the blood in it.
Okay.
Also in Demon Knight as well as Bordello of Blood.
Okay, it was shared between them. I don't remember it in Bordello of Blood.
In Bordello of Blood, it's what's his name? I had it written down here. The little person who at the beginning who finds the mummy of the villain woman. Lilith, yes, thank you.
Okay, I gotcha.
He controls her by way of this key, and the key.
Okay, that's right, yeah.
And I don't know if that's supposed to be some sort. I kind of doubt it because it was kind of pre any sort of like real crossover stuff happening in films, even within the same band, Tales from the Crypt franchise. But I would say that there's not really a connection beyond it being a reference. Also, Bordello of Blood was supposed to be a horror released on a horror themed weekend like Halloween or Friday the 13th, but Universal did not have enough movies slated to be released for the summer of 1996 and opted to release Bordello of Blood in August. So this was an August horror movie.
So I will say for the Demon Knight, it was purposefully released on Friday the 13th, Friday, January 13th. Because the Tales from the Crypt movies were originally to be tied with traditional horror weekends such as Friday the 13th or Halloween. I guess they just couldn't pull that off with the next release.
Justin, we covered this last year, buddy. How embarrassing for you. My gosh. Oh, boy. But if we want to talk about Demon Knight, we can talk about Demon Knight. I had some trivia for Demon Knight here in front of me. Did you guys know that birds had nested in the rafters of the set, which caused audio problems? So before each take, the crew would shoot off a blank gunshot to startle the quiet animals. And
you don't say.
I don't say. I said it last year.
So there was a birdemic on set.
There was a birdemic, which is where the confusion came from.
There you go. That's what we call a callback, kids.
I don't get it.
Oh, man. Demon Knight was a script that had been circulating Hollywood for a number of years. Although it was not adapted from EC Comics and lacked the standard morality play, the producers decided it was the right mixture of horror and humor to be produced into Tales from the Crypt spinoff movie. That's interesting that they kind of like set aside the morality issue, both in this and Bordello, I would say. Like they've really sidelined that.
So, Old Bish, can you enlighten me? Is Demon Knight was Demon Knight a Tales from the Crypt comic that was adapted, or are there Tales from the Crypt comic and it's adapted in the style of those?
Correct. It's the latter of the two.
Okay.
It's an original story meant to kind of harken back to the EC comic days.
Okay.
Where it was Vault of Horror, Tales from the Crypt, and you had different hosts. You had the Crypt Keeper, you had the Old Witch, and then you also had the Vault Keeper.
Okay.
And they got in trouble with the government back in the day when the government was like, it's all because of comic books that there's violence.
Trying to pin it on anything they could. Video games, comic books.
Yep.
So here's something interesting.
Thank you.
Does anybody know the show Brimstone, a 1998 television series?
Yep.
Okay, so Cesar. It's on Fox. Okay, I was not familiar with this, but here's a piece of trivia that I guess would be important primarily to you. So several concepts, such as the idea of shooting demons in the eyes in order to send them back to hell, was later used by these same writers for their television series Brimstone. Harken back. Did you watch that show, or were you just aware of it?
Yeah, I did watch it. It was, it didn't last long. It was kind of like they wanted it to be edgy and dark, but it felt like the Quantum Leap version of Ghost Rider.
Okay.
Rough.
If that makes any sense. Like it's like X-Files is still scarier than this show, and Millennium is still scarier than this show, and they're not even talking about the devil. Like it's like try harder.
Do a better job.
Come on.
So.
There's not much more, but here's one thing. One of the protagonists, Wally Enfield, is a recently fired postal worker. I believe that's Charles Fleischer. Is that right? Cesar, I think you can. You're usually good with names. He's a fired postal worker. The remaining protagonists find a large collection of guns in his home, realizing that Enfield intended to attack the post office. This is likely a reference to several real-life spree killings perpetrated by maniac postal workers.
Yeah, that was like big in the 90s, wasn't it?
Yeah, I guess that was like a late 80s thing, maybe, that sort of like was a joke or something.
God,
in the 90s, because I remember seeing that referenced in a few things. Rocco's Modern Life weirdly comes to mind.
It's a saying, isn't it? Going postal.
Yeah, going postal.
Where
that phrase comes from.
Yeah.
There was a scene in Rocco's Modern Life episode where Rocco or somebody was on a crowded subway or bus, and there was this, like, it was very crowded, and this one guy standing there, he's wearing a postal worker's outfit, and he says, "All these crowds seem to make me disgruntled." And then everybody runs away, and then he just starts swinging on the handrail.
Oh, no.
It was great. I love that show.
Shane, I gotta tell you, if I try any kind of Australian accent, it will sound like Rocco from Rocco's Modern Life, and it will not be good. It will not be good. It will be ridiculously offensive.
Well, as I've said to you previously, if you give it a go sometime, I'd hugely appreciate it, because you're a master of voices. You impress me.
You've made your
blank check.
Shane, you've made your sale. Okay.
Dude, it sounds like somebody better pick fucking The Ritual to so that we can find a satisfying arc for our Cesar character, our old bitch, to conclude. And that's more or less the end of trivia. I will say one more piece, and that is this. In theory, either Bob or Irene could also have been the chosen one, had they survived. Irene was shown to turn down the collector's offer, and presumably Bob was also given the same choice. And the fact that he was not possessed would indicate that he turned it down as well. So some alternative potential endings there that obviously we're not taking advantage of. I guess you really can't be the chosen one if your fate is to be disemboweled by Billy Zane. Sorry, everyone.
Sorry.
John just is coming for you.
So we don't have any voicemails this week, so we're not going to be jumping into voicemails from a place I like to call the Further, aka Hotline Screen. But should you want to contact us and leave us a voicemail, you can do that at 904-638-3231. Let us know how much we suck.
We need a prompt. Which is better, Demonite or Bordello Blood?
Yeah, let us know your thoughts. Or The Ritual, if you've seen that. Maybe that's the best one.
Yeah, tell us what you think.
It's not.
It's even in the trivia, Old Bish, it says like, "Oh, it was intended to be a trilogy." So is that not like recognized as part of it, or do you know?
Like, I'm not kidding. It was like a straight to DVD. Like,
okay,
it's so not associated, but if you know that it was going to be the third movie, you're
okay.
Oh,
that sucks.
I see.
Like if you just look up the word Ritual and Tales from the Crypt, and you'll see like it's like, oh,
damn.
It's meant to be forgotten.
Right. It's like all the executive producers that
Tim Curry
made the show were like, yeah, let's back out.
That sucks. Tim Curry's in it. That's a shame.
I mean, I can't say I've ever heard of it until you brought it up, Cesar. Had no idea it even existed.
Oh,
what
it's
I'm here for.
it's also from 2002 from what
Yeah.
I'm reading,
Oh,
so
it
it
seems
just
like-
probably lacks that 90s
Yes.
charm.
Dude,
I
it
think it's-
looks like a sci-fi channel original piece of hog shit.
It probably had the budget of one too. Like it almost certainly was made just for the small subsection of fans that are like, we love both Demon Knight and Bordello of
Yeah,
Blood, and
you
we
can
need the
say me.
conclusion to our trilogy.
Yeah, you can say me. It's fine.
Okay, sorry. This movie is made for Cesar, and he's very happy with it. He loves it. He loves it.
I was not. I was not happy with it. It made my penis shrivelly.
Oh, so it's like any other movie.
Yeah.
The old bish got a shrivel up dingle dingle.
It's not one Dennis Miller quip. I could not maintain an erection afterwards. It's terrible.
It's the only reason I watched the Dennis Miller quips.
It's Viagra, audible Viagra.
That's what it is.
Slip it on in there.
It makes my dick hard, babe. Okay, I've got that SNL money. Okay.
Oh my God! Hold on, I gotta go to the bathroom.
Nope.
Make sure we can hear you pee and flush the toilet, Randy, please.
No, I was joking about Dennis Miller being an aphrodisiac, which he is not. But let's continue.
Yeah. No, that's pretty much it. No voicemails. We're gonna skip news this evening. Gentlemen, thank you for returning. Cesar, it's always a pleasure to have you on, dude.
Well, I'll make it more of a habit.
Do it. Shane,
It's been a hot
thanks-
minute.
This too, back in the habit.
What was the last episode Old Bish was on?
Oh, Jesus.
I don't know.
Was it Tremors?
Were you on Tremors?
I think
he was
I
on
was.
Tremor.
Yeah.
He was on Tremors.
Yeah, I think that might be it. Actually,
Oh,
boy.
Yeah.
been a hot minute.
Shane, thanks for joining us again, man. Like I said, it's always a pleasure having you on the show and making us slightly more legitimate than we need to be.
Yes.
Shane, what was your last episode? Do you remember?
No, I can't. I've been on
Is it
about
Dawn
4
of the
times.
Dead? We have Dawn of the Dead and Night of the Living Dead.
It probably was the double
Halloween
feature.
extravaganza.
Yeah,
Oh, that
that's
was
it.
Halloween.
Yeah.
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 Last October.
Hey, I've always wanted to do Innocent Blood with you guys. I love that movie.
Ooh.
That's true. John Landis. Yeah, we need to do that. We do need to do that.
Cesar's intrigued.
But thank you for having me, you guys. As I'll just repeat myself, I feel like I'm part of the Straight Chillin' family, and I would be part of your podcast at a drop of a hat. You crack me up. And by the end of the podcast where you were talking toilet humor, I knew that was where it was going. By the end. But it's so much fun. And horror movies are just good to talk about with you guys because I haven't got a lot of colleagues that I can actually talk to about horror. So thanks. for
We're
having me.
happy to mislead you.
Yeah.
And it's an open
That's
invitation. If you ever come down under, I will be your host in Sydney.
Hey,
I'll have to take that up at some point. I'm
kids,
over
it
here.
does
I'm close
pay to
enough.
be a blowhard on the internet.
Jump on that private jet that we have, that straight chilling jet, and fly on over real quick.
Oh,
Tail
yeah.
number 666.
Yeah.
Oh!
6669, I think, is what you
Oh,
meant.
that's a little accurate. It's way closer to the truth.
And I've kind of evolved because when I was on the Bordello of Blood podcast, I had no idea what a CUDA was, but now I know what they are. They're a
No,
bunch
now
of-
you're
That was just this afternoon.
I can't believe you're still
No.
milking that joke.
The commitment is
Randy's
unreal.
riding
Don't
it
know
till
what
the
you
end.
mean?
So, we're going to be back next week with a new show. We're going to be talking about Jordan Peele's latest, Us.
Ooh.
Yes. It's been impossible to avoid the Rotten Tomatoes reviews on that because it's plastic.
Don't say that shit. Don't say that shit. I have
Yes,
not
yes.
Yeah.
I have
All right.
successfully avoided
Don't
the
say it.
impossible.
Everybody else has
Don't
avoided
say
it, Rob. Everybody else. Not
To be honest,
impossible.
I'm going to shut up just because I feel like Justin almost beat the shit out of you through
Oh,
the
yeah.
phone.
He's going to jump through the
Holy
phone.
shit.
You shut your mouth, Bob. Don't ruin my segment.
Segment.
All
Segment.
It's already hard enough, Bob, okay?
For Christ's sake, man, don't make Justin mad. He looks like the Unabomber already.
Looks like emo Unabomber.
Emo bomber.
Yeah.
The emo bomber. Bombing
Now he's a Mega Man villain?
Yeah.
So we're going to see if Jordan Peele can do it again next week. Until then, you can rate, review, and subscribe to us on iTunes. You can follow us on Twitter at STR8_chilling. We're on Instagram at Straight Chilling Podcast. You can send us an email through our website, straightchillingpodcast.com. Again, if you want to leave us a voicemail, you can do that at 904-638-3231. And I think that does it. Again, gentlemen, thank you so much. It's fun. It's a pleasure, as always, having both of you on.
Likewise.
And we'll see
Thank
you
you.
again soon. Yes, yes. Until next week, as always, all you mother truckers, please keep chilling.
All right.